It suddenly occurred to me that to manage anything, you have to have an idea of what you are managing, either the size, the quality, quantity, or the amount of time. Anything you are managing, it has to come down to an approximated value. So you now know how to cut it into parts, to know what to do with it and everything. So that was what I thought of, and I said, wow, that means what does the panel deliver in a whole day? What does it deliver in a week or something? So I set out to do this experiment, and at the end of the day, the experiment was not exactly what I thought it was going to look like. There are some figures you just put in your head, and when you now get to do the real test, you realize that that figure was not close at all. So let's get started. I'm just going to be showing you a screenshot. I don't want to bore you with the test. In a whole day, I did that test, and at 7 a.m. I got started, and you can see that we have 5 watts. Yes. And at 8 a.m. you can see that we are at 27.5 watts. And at 9 a.m. we are at 62.5 watts. So the figures are going to keep climbing until it gets to a certain point where it starts coming down. That is, if the weather is clear throughout the day. At 10 a.m. you can see that we have 102.8 watts. And by 11 o'clock a.m. in the morning, the weather was kind of fluctuating, so it remained at 102 watts. Now at 12 p.m. it further went up again, and we got 120 watts. So at 1 p.m. I was thinking maybe we are going to be getting something about that same 120, but somehow we got 117 watts. Although the weather was fluctuating at this time, so it was just, I was able to capture it at 117. Then at 2 p.m. it suddenly dropped to 42 watts because of the weather still. And when the weather let out a little, at 3 p.m. you can see that we're getting 75 watts. So at 4 p.m. we're getting about 42 watts. Now remember, all this while the energy has just been climbing and climbing. If you are looking at it at the bottom right, so at 5 p.m. we're getting 14 watts. Then at 6 p.m. you can see that the solar panel is no longer getting much from the sun. It's literally getting 0 watts. So we are getting 2.2 watts. And at 6:30 p.m. you can see that we're no longer getting any power. So if you look at the accumulated energy for the whole day, you can see that we got 644 watts. Wow. So with this experiment now, you can guess what you are getting in a day from a panel, and then you can now start planning, oh, if I can get 600 watts from a solar panel, what can it do for me? Now remember, in our last video we did an experiment where we tested how much watt we pump water into our 1500 liters tank. When I did this experiment, it just occurred to me that one solar panel can actually be putting water in your tank from 0 to full every day without any problems. That is, assuming the sun is consistent. So that was an eye-opener for me. It's important to mention that this is the hot season that we are in my country. The results we are getting are quite okay. There are going to be seasons when we get about half of this power, or maybe a bit less. So that's why this kind of experiments, we need to be carrying it out in different seasons so that we know how to manage our power during those periods very, very accurately. I went further to continue the test, and I did it for about 13 days. I'm just going to screenshot the results as well so that you see. Then we'll now take an average. Starting with the one we got from the first day, I continued, and from the 644 watts, which you already saw, the next day I got 625 watts, and the next day I got 642 watts, the next 433 watts. Then there was a time I wasn't around for 4 days, so I didn't reset it, so I just got 2306 watts. So on and on, 608 watts, 535 watts, 553 watts, 500 watts, and 410 watts. So these values, I got them in a span of 13 days. So now when you take the average, you are getting almost 560 watts average. Knowing that this is the kind of power that I'll be getting during this period of the year, it's very easy for me to know what 2 solar panels will give to me, 5 panels will give to me. So if I know what I need in a particular day, in a particular week, all I need to do is just to keep summing up these values to get exactly what I need. So this experiment was very helpful, and it's just that kind of experiment that when you do, you just begin to know exactly what to expect from your solar panels and what they can do for you. So in another video, I'm going to be doing for a battery, so that we also know what a battery can really do, because the manufacturers, once they put their rating and you are going with their rating, you may be surprised at what you are going to get. It may not be exactly what is the batteries are rated for. So I think the next experiment I'm going to do now will be knowing what your batteries can also store, so that way you know how to manage your battery when it's fully charged. Ultimately, with this knowledge, we can size our system comfortably, knowing fully well that, okay, we're going to be consuming about 3 kilowatts on a daily basis. Common sense requires us to just add these figures, and at the end of the day, we have an idea of how many solar panels we're going to be using. But that's video for another day, because it goes beyond that. You know, I said this is hot season. That's where the sun is high during in my country, and we're going to have rainy season. So when you're sizing your system, you are not just going to use this figure. You're also going to have an idea of what the rainy season is, or if you're in the winter zone. So the idea is that when you know the watts you are going to be getting from your panel, that is where you want to calculate from, so that at the end of the day, your solar panels will not fail you. If you have not watched my video on how much energy it takes to fill a 1,500 liters tank, click the video on your screen right now, or check the description below. And don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below, like, share, and subscribe to my channel.